All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Cox?
Hello. My name is Dr. Dawn Cox. I have a doctorate in educational leadership and management, and I've worked for the Linwood Unified School District for 20 years.
And hello, my name is Joy Cox. I have a master's in education. I've been working at Palm Springs Heights, or the Palm Springs Unified School District, for about 10 years, but overall I've been teaching for about 21 years. But guess what? We are not alone. We have two wonderful moderators. Will you care to introduce yourselves?
Good morning, I'm Shane Hagar. I'm the principal of Rancho Mirage Elementary. I'm currently working on my doctorate in educational leadership, and I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and we're glad to have you.
Good morning, my name is Joaquin Galeano. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work for the mental health department for PSUSD. Great to be here with you guys.
And we are so happy to have such wonderful moderators. And we also have a wonderful translator. Do you care to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Juliana Rodriguez. I work as an office technician at the Palm Springs Unified School District for the ECE department. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, and we're so glad to have you. And we're having issues with our translation. So this is going to be a mixture of English, Ebonics, and a little bit of Espanol, Spanglish, but we're going to try to do the best we can. Speaking of doing the best we can, Dr. Cox, we have some codes of conduct that we will like to go over with you all. Number one, please respect other people's opinion. Dr. Cox, you want to speak on that?
We just want to make sure that this is an open forum where everybody can share their thoughts without being judged or ridiculed or even expressing thoughts that might be considered ignorant. So we just want to respect everybody's input.
And having said that, number two, numero dos, feel free to share your thoughts and views. How else do we learn how other people feel if we don't know what you're thinking? So go ahead. Numero tres, number three, we can agree to disagree. Come on, Americans. This is something we have to learn on. I'm telling you now, you all are not going to agree with everything I say. Dr. Cox, do I always agree with what you have to say?
That is correct. She does not.
Right. And that's okay. But I'm hoping that we can talk about this topic that affects probably everyone in this room. And number four, numero cuatro, you might hear some uncomfortable terms that are not PC. So I'm going to ask that you just pray for me. Don't get angry at me. This does not necessarily reflect our opinions, right, Dr. Cox?
It doesn't reflect our opinions, but it reflects a type of culture that has been adapted that may or may not be appropriate.
Right. And so we have to talk about it, right? All right. So having said that, I want to start off with the picture of this young lady. So the question is, who is she? La pregunta es, ¿quién es ella? Who is she? Pues su nombre es Yalitza Aparicio. That's her name, Yalitza Aparicio. Do you guys know her? Put it in the chat. Have you heard of her? Have you seen her? What do you know about her? Moderators, what are they saying?
No responses yet.
Okay, so
okay.
She's an
that's okay.
Indigenous American actress.
Okay, all right. Yes. All right, so we have a little bit of
people. I've not heard of her.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Well, for those of you who don't know,
most folks are saying she's an actress.
Okay, this is Yalitza Aparicio. She is an indigenous American actress from Mexico. She is best known for her film debut role in Roma. This was back in 2018. Now, if I'm not mistaken, she's the first indigenous American woman to be nominated for an Academy, and she's the second Mexican woman after Selma Hayek, okay? Now, after she did her performance and was nominated, well, let me share with you what happened, Dr. Cox. There was a Mexican TV network criticized for a brown-faced parody that they did of the Roma star, Yalitza Aparicio. In particular, it was Giga Rosales. She posted pictures of herself on social media wearing brown skin, so she darkened her skin, and she put on this fake nose to sort of exaggerate the size of her nose. The question is, why, Dr. Cox? Well, I'm sure you're wondering that. I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering that. But I'm going to argue, you don't have to agree with me, that, ladies and gentlemen, when we think of telenovelas, las telenovelas que vienen de México, de Venezuela, de Argentina, don't we often think of stars like the ones we see on the left? For example, we have here Kate del Castillo. She's very pretty, beautiful woman. I'm not taking that from her. Or how about Gabriel Soto? Que guapo, él es, right? Isn't he handsome? They're beautiful. The young lady below, beautiful blonde hair, beautiful colored eyes, light skin. They're quite beautiful. And if you turn to any telenovela, any time of the day, these are the type of actors you'll see, whether they're Venezuelan or Mexican, Brazilian, Argentinian. The question is this: ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? Why don't we see more Afro-Latinas like Lupita Nyong'o? Yes, she is from, her folks are from Africa, pero nació en Mexico. She was born in Mexico. Why don't we see more indigenous women on telenovelas like these ladies? So, Dr. Cox, the question is why? With that in mind, while you're talking, Dr. Cox, I would love for you all out there, put in the chat, why? Why don't we see more Afro-Latinas? Why don't we see more indigenous Latinas? Dr. Cox, what do you have to say about this?
Well, you know what? I think we are looking at the fact that what is popularized in social media, what is considered socially acceptable, what is considered visually or aesthetically pleasing. And so they're catering to that that audience instead of showing a variety of diversity across the board. That's what I'm thinking.
Well said. Hey, our moderators, what are they saying in the chat?
They want to appeal to a wider audience.
Okay. All right. So they want to appeal to a wider audience, even in Mexico, even in Venezuela, even yes, in Argentina or Honduras. Anything else?
The producers may be casting folks that have lighter skin.
Okay, so we see that perhaps those are in power who are making decisions on who goes on television have to look a certain way. Well, then with that in mind, Dr. Cox, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump straight into it. Dr. Cox, ¿qué es colorismo? What is colorism?
Well, colorism is a term believed to be first coined by in 1982 by Pulitzer Prize winner Alice Walker, and was defined to mean the prejudicial or preferential treatment of same-race people based solely on the color of their skin. It is not considered racism, although there is a clear relationship between the two.
Right, and I think the key thing that I want to focus on here, ladies and gentlemen, this is prejudicial treatment within the culture. Let me say that again, within the similar culture. So if you look at the situation with Yalitza Aparicio, it wasn't Black folks giving her a hard time, and it wasn't European Americans giving her a hard time. It was Mexican folks giving a hard time. How dare you? And excuse my language, I know this is a bad word, but I feel it's necessary. One of the gentlemen, I remember reading an article, he was a well-known telenovela actor, and he referred to her as a, quote, pinche, I know that's a bad word, India. Why am I cursing? To show you the level of anger that many of the Mexicans had toward her being nominated. So where does this come from, Dr. Cox? And ladies and gentlemen, we would argue it has a lot to do with colonialism. So while colorism has roots in slavery and colonialism, it has carried over into mainstream popular culture as well. So Dr. Cox, I want you to take a look at this social class. Wherever the Spanish, let's look at the Spanish, but I'm arguing probably the French did it, the English did it as well. This is called la casta. Have you guys ever heard of it? La casta, like a caste system? So Dr. Cox, if you look at that pyramid, at the very top are the peninsulares, right? These were those Spanish people who were born in España that came to the New World. Underneath the peninsulares were the criollos, okay? Yeah, they were still Spanish, their parents were, but they were born in the New World. So you see already at the top, those born in España, then those who are from those born in España. And remember, not classy, I'm sorry, I thought I was in class. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when the Spanish came over, they created a new group of people called mestizos. For those who don't know, mestizos are a mixture of the European with indigenous. You got this new group. What do we do with them? Well, they're not quite as high as Spaniards, but they're not quite at the bottom, so they're mixed. Below that, we have the mulattoes. Or mulattoes are those of African ancestry mixed with European. They're not as bad as the negros or the Africanos. They got a little bit of European in them, so they're better, not as good as mestizos. And below that are the indigenous, toward the bottom, and who are at the very bottom, Africans. Now, Dr. Cox, I would argue that it's not necessarily per se that dark skin in and of itself is something inferior, but this was a way to maintain power, to maintain those people in a working position so that they don't think they can go up. And once the Spaniards and the French and the Dutch and the English planted that seed, that's it. It's a wrap. People bought into it. So remember, colorism, you're dealing with people of the same race, same culture, looking down on on others based on their color. Dr. Cox, thoughts?
Well, you know what? I think that now that we understand the origin of this what has been mainstreamed into society, we can now look at not just the foundational origins, but now we can look to ourselves to see, is this something that we may or may not do and not be aware of it?
Right. So speaking of being aware, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go around the world. Let's take a look at what colorism looked like in the Asian culture. We looked at it a little bit in the Latino, in particular Mexican culture. Let's take a look at it in the Asian culture. Here's a trivia. Get ready, moderators. Here's some trivia from India. Which is the highest grossing beauty product? So once again, which is the highest grossing beauty product in India? Is it A, permanent makeup? El maquillaje permanente, right? Permanente, acuerdo que sí. Hair extension, como lo que yo llevo, you know, like si quiero crecer, no puedo crecer mi pelo muy rápido, entonces yo llevo extension, like pelo falso. Henna tattoos, like what you wear, and or none of these. So put it in the chat. What do you guys think? Let us know, moderators. What are they saying?
Permanent makeup, hair.
Okay.
D.
Permanent makeup. Okay.
Lots of these.
Okay.
Lots
All
of
right. What do you think, Dr. Cox? Do you think it's permanent makeup or hair?
I actually think it's none of these.
Really? And guess what? She's correct. None of these. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to bust your bubble, skin bleaching cream. Yes, the market, which includes creams, face washes, so if I want my face to be lighter, even deodorant. You know how sometimes the darker people underneath our armpits were a little darker? Yes, you can bleach your armpits. And I didn't put it because my sister told me not to. There are other parts of the bodies you can bleach too. Who knew, right, Dr. Cox?
I did.
Okay, well, you do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's estimated to be about 270 billion rupees, that's the currency in India, for $4 billion. And it's growing steadily. So you see advertisements like this in India where you have a brown-faced young lady. If you use the skin bleaching cream, ultimately you'll have fair skin. I'm just curious, how many of you all have heard of skin bleaching cream? I would love to hear what they're saying in the chat. Have you heard about it? Did you know it existed? Any of you? What are they saying, Joaquin?
Say that, hold on. I keep saying yes, a lot of yes answers.
Yeah.
Talking about skin lightening.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Lightening.
Yeah, so they've heard of it.
Common denominator.
Oh, wow.
All right, now I want you guys to pay attention to some of these names. Dr. Cox, what are some of the skin bleaching cream names you grew up hearing?
Natanola bleaching cream, ultimate whitening cream.
The ultimate, right? You want to be the
Yeah.
ultimate. Oh, how about Skin Success? Don't you love that name? If you want to have success, you need Skin Success. So what message does that send? Or how about this one, Dr. Cox? Fair and Lovely. No, not to be mixed up with Dark and Lovely. It's Fair and Lovely. If you want to be lovely, you need to be fair.
Yeah.
Right?
And then who told them that?
Yeah.
You know, where did that concept come from?
And we know that that was definitely established by when colonialism took place. They established their concept of beauty. And take a look at this picture. You have a young lady willing to bleach her legs so her legs will look fair and beautiful. But let's talk a little bit about this skin cream, you guys. Dr. Cox, what do we know about skin bleaching cream?
Skin bleaching is the act of using steroid and chemical containing products to lighten the skin. Hydroquinone and kojic acid are often used in skin creams.
So we see throughout Asia, India, the Philippines, many other parts of Asia, you have women risking using kojic acid and hydroquinone on their skin to achieve that fair and lovely look. Now, despite doctors' warning, your skin might turn too dark. I know this might be a little graphic, but I need you all to see to what extent women are willing to go to lighten their skin. It causes the skin to thin, there's scarring, kidney and liver damage. If you're a pregnant woman and you're carrying a baby, it can cause abnormalities to the child. And another thing, Dr. Cox, for those people making skin bleaching cream outside the United States, a lot of them are getting mercury poisoning, correct?
Yeah. And I also want to say, don't think it's limited to women. I'm sure that you have men doing it as well.
Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that, Dr. Cox, because I want you all to take a look at the picture on the left. I just typed in Bollywood actors. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Bollywood, but these were the first images that popped up. I'm keeping it real. They're beautiful, aren't they, Dr. Cox?
Yeah, very attractive.
Very attractive.
Joyce, are you sharing your screen? Folks are not seeing the pictures.
Oh, really? So you don't see men and women of Bollywood?
Are people?
They said they see it.
Now?
Oh, they can.
Oh, no.
They are seeing it now. They are seeing it now.
Oh, no. Let me try it again. I'll try sharing again.
Can you find out at what part they weren't able to see it?
Let's try it again. Thank you for being patient.
Yes, they are seeing it now. They are seeing it now.
Okay. Can you all see it now? Yes or no?
Yes, they said yes.
Yes.
Okay, so remember the doctor's warnings? And like I apologize for the graphic pictures, but I want you all to see to what length men and women are going through. And Dr. Cox, what were you saying, that women aren't the only one?
Yeah, you're not limited to just women. You have men doing it too.
And hence, how about this next picture? Are you able to see it? Yeah?
Yes, they are seeing the pictures now, yes.
All right,
Good.
so here we go. On the left, ladies and gentlemen, when I typed in Bollywood actors, these are the actors that popped up. On the left, beautiful people, right, Dr. Cox? We agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing when I think of India, I'm not thinking of just this type of beauty. Why don't we see more Bollywood actors like the one on the right?
And I also want to just throw in there just a thought. When I think of how Indian people from India represented themselves in antiquity, it was never really per se fair skin, right? They were different shades of purple and blue and just absolutely gorgeous. So why is it not being represented here?
Right, and that's the thing we need to look at when we're looking at colorism. So we're going to stop for a moment. Thoughts? What are your thoughts so far about the definition of colorism, what it looks like? Any thoughts at this time? Help us out, moderators. What are you seeing in the chat?
So some people check the newborn cuticles to determine the skin tone.
I've heard of that before.
Wait, what happened? I couldn't hear him,
They
Dr.
check
Cox.
the baby's cuticles to see what shade they'll be, how
Oh,
dark they'll be.
yes, that's some old school stuff. Yes, Dawn, remember my mom used to do that. Keeping it real. My mother would look at the cuticles of the finger to tell how dark the baby would be. Sure did. Wow, that's interesting. That's old school. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
So as far as directors are hiring Caucasian and Hispanics and Asians, and some people get upset about that.
Ah, yes, and yeah, we need to start looking at, are we trying to choose beauty that reflects the diversity that exists in our country? That's something that we need to think about more, right? Thank you for that. So having said that, I have another trivia for you guys out there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the website Quora, and they have a lot of interesting topics that they discuss. I follow them. So there was a questionnaire in the Philippines, right? So now we're still in the Pacific island area. Why don't you all take a look at this question? And I would love for you to answer in the chat. According to Filipinos, what is the ideal standard of beauty in the Philippines? So once again, in the Philippines, what do they consider to be attractive? So go ahead, put your answers in the chat. Dr. Cox, I would love to hear what they're going to say about this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fair skin, white pale skin, light skin is the common denominator. Lips.
Okay, lips, okay.
Very good.
Yeah, right. All right, you guys, I think you're in a colorism discussion.
Colored eyes.
Colored eyes, that's good.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you got it. According to Quora respondents, are you all still able to see the pictures? Let me know, Joaquin, if they ever are not able to see it, okay? The #1 beauty standard is fair skin and clear complexion. Now, Dr. Cox, we can all agree we want clear complexion, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want bumps and things, but look, before even clear complexion, fair skin. Did the same thing in preparing for this discussion. On the left, I typed in Filipino actors. Take a look at what this was among the first pictures that came up. Dr. Cox, we can agree they're gorgeous, right?
Oh, yeah, very attractive.
Yes, very beautiful, very attractive. What do they all have in common? You could tell that they're something. They got something in them, but definitely the lighter skin, right? The bigger eyes. We could go there too in another discussion talking about hair and eyes, right? But definitely the fair skin. My question is, why don't we see just as many Filipinos like the one on the right? Dr. Cox, have you ever heard of the Ida tribe?
I have.
Now, can you educate them about the Ida tribe? I don't know if you all out there have ever heard of the Ida tribe.
But they're a group of people in the Philippines that are actually indigenous.
Thank you. I don't know how many of you all knew that. These people over here are actually indigenous to the Filipino islands. You don't see them often on Filipino television. Or why don't we see more? Perdón, I'm so sorry. Why don't we see more Filipino actors and actresses that look like these ladies? Why? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear what you have to say. Dr. Cox, you want to sort of summarize while they're writing in the chat?
I'm sorry?
The flip side of this is that some folks in the US pay a lot of money to get tans. They want to look darker.
That is interesting, isn't it? Yes, as women, don't we often go through a lot to look beautiful. It's like on one hand, you have many European American whites who tan to get darker. And then on the flip side, you have darker folks using skin bleaching cream, right, Dr. Cox, to look lighter?
Oh, yeah. No one is content. Everybody wants the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. So could we say it's all colorism in a way, right? You know, because I guess the question would be, does colorism always have to go in one direction? Or can it go, is it fluid? Does it go back and forth? Yeah, okay. All right, so if you look at what we've discussed thus far, we have defined colorism. We talked about colorism on the telenovelas in Latin America. We looked at colorismo, colorism in Asia. Here's another trivia for you. Get ready. I'm bringing it home now to the United States, Los Estados Unidos. What is the paper bag test? I repeat, what is the paper bag test? Put it in the chat. Let us know, moderator. You think they'll figure this one out, Dr. Cox?
Yeah, notice it says brown paper bag test. Very good.
Oh, sorry, the brown paper bag test. Sorry, I'll fix that. The brown paper bag test. Thank you, Dr. Cox. What are they saying in the chat, Joaquin?
I've never heard of it.
You have to be lighter than a paper bag.
Okay, all right. Okay, interesting. Anything else?
Let me see.
They're really going.
The paper bag test is where you compare your skin to it.
Okay. Boy, this is a bright group of people, boy. You guys.
Yeah, they're tuned in. They are very tuned in.
You all are woke. Yes. And guess what? So the paper bag test. Dr. Cox, you know about this. Will you share real quickly a story that our mother used to share with us?
Well, you know what? They used to make the comment of, if you are dating a person, you know, make sure they're no darker than a brown paper bag. Make sure the shade of their skin was no darker than that. Right. So that is something that we were familiar with.
Right. My mother told us that all the time. So for those of you who didn't know, let me just educate you. The test was allegedly used to determine what privileges an individual could have. Only those with skin color that matched or was lighter than a brown paper bag were allowed admission or membership privileges. So the test was believed by many to be used definitely in the 20th century by African Americans. We own this. We did this in the United States. Only certain individuals of certain colors could join sororities or fraternities. There were even churches that if you were darker than a paper bag, you could not join it. Okay? So that's in the African American community. Okay? So having said that, Dr. Cox, we define colorism. Dr. Cox, could you read what colorism is again?
We can go back over colorism as the prejudicial or preferential treatment of same-race people based solely on their color.
Right. And we educated you guys on how colorism affects different cultures. In Mexico, in Argentina, Venezuela, you will see the more Spaniard-looking women and men on the telenovelas and commercials, los anuncios, no? And we know in Asia, whether it's India, the Philippines, I'm sure in other parts as well of Asia, that you have colorism where they're bleaching their skins, probably more so in India because they have a little bit more pigmentation. But get ready for your next one. What does colorism sound like? I bet you've heard of these. All right, so Dr. Cox, you're gonna help me out with this, right?
Of course.
All right, so around the world, let's start off. So I'm gonna read one, Dr. Cox will read one. If you've heard of these terms, put a yes. If you haven't, put a no. How about high yellow? Have you ever heard of that term, high yellow? No sé decir en español.
Yes, no.
Okay, what's the next one, Dr. Cox?
How about red bone?
Yes, Little Wayne said he wants him a red bone. Red bone, right. How about, okay, a red bone. Yeah, this is very Southern. Red bone es como una negra como del color caramelo, like caramel color with the red hints. We used to say, oh, she has Indian in her. I'm just keeping it real. She has Indian in her because she's red bone, right? How about treated like a redheaded stepchild? I know we don't think about that, but I was talking to Dr. Cox, remember we were talking about this? What message does that send about redheads? If you're treated like a redheaded stepchild, does that mean if you have red hair, you're like
you're going to be mistreated?
Right.
Or you're going to stand out as something negative.
Yes, for my redheads, got love for you. Now, this is where it's a little bit offensive, Dr. Cox, but we grew up hearing this one, right?
Oh, yeah.
What is it, Dr. Cox?
Oh, that's why you did the rotation. So I would be stuck with the Dookie comment, right? So this one, dark as an African, or that's basically making a bad inference to someone that is dark complected, right? So dark as Dookie, as if it's, and I think it's probably more juvenile with kids in elementary school.
Yes.
That would, just making fun of someone that was dark skinned. Yeah.
And
Black
just
as
to,
night.
yeah, okay, dark as night. Or
Black
you
as
have, right. Yeah, and so now you
Very
teachers
good. Very
know
good.
when you hear that on the grade, any your mama so dark type jokes, you're aware now. But let's go to the other spectrum, calling someone Casper.
Mhm.
If someone is super
light
fair.
bright, but not quite white.
Right. Yep. What's the next one, Dr. Cox? Some other things you might have heard. Okay.
Well, you got the caramel, the cafe latte.
Right. Ya lo sé que en Cuba que usan, like, they compare, que comparan las mujeres con su café. Como, ella, café negro, like or café con leche means that she's a little lighter.
Cracker.
Right.
Cracker. Okay.
Yeah.
Not talking about Ritz.
No, we're not talking about Ritz. Here's one I often heard. Oh, mira, like when the baby's born and it's very white. Oh, mira que precioso el güerito, la güerita. Oh, que bonita, because she's güerito, blonde and blue eyes. Versus, oh no.
What happened?
Are you all able? Okay, my internet is unstable. I don't know why. Versus, oh, mira el morenito, like dark. Why do you have to nickname them güerito and morenito? Have you all heard of these terms? Are they still there?
Yeah, some of them are saying yes and no. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
yes.
Joaquin. I didn't mean to take over your job. Sorry, Joaquin.
Yeah, I didn't know. I saw that the internet was unstable, so I'm like, oh no. So
No,
you all agree these? Güera, yes. Why you have to nickname her Güera? Okay. So once again, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? I've heard people say, Dr. Cox, oh, these are terms of endearment. Oh, that don't mean nothing by it. But what message does that send? That you're giving someone a nickname based on something they have no control over, their color. Okay, Dr. Cox, did you want to elaborate on that?
Well, you know what? I mean, it really does go back to, are we still allowing an archaic value system to define beauty? Why can't we be defined by variations? I mean, if you go back to what we discussed about the origins of it, it's archaic. It no longer has relevancy. And even when it did have relevancy, it wasn't valid. It was for a power structure, right? So how do we get out of that? And are we open to learning some things new?
Right. And I think, Dr. Cox, during this presentation, you all, Dawn and I, Dr. Cox and I discussed how we learned some things wrong. We had to fix our mindset on how we view beauty and how we, nicknames and little, terms that aren't so nice that we embrace. So let's talk about, how do we take steps toward healing? Now, for a long time, you guys, colorism has been considered like a dirty little secret, right? No one will come out and say they're a colorist, right? According to Antoinette Lander, I found her very interesting. She's an assistant professor of human development and family science at the University of Missouri. And in her research, she illustrates the need to unmask skin tone wounds. Let me say that again. Some of you all out there have skin tone wounds, regardless of whether you're light or you're dark or in between. We need to start promoting healing for individuals, for our families, and for our communities that suffer from skin tone trauma. And I know you all might not think, oh, I'm traumatized. I think we might be a little bit more than what we think. So Lander offers the following advice to help people heal from skin tone trauma. What's one of the first things, Dr. Cox, is?
Acknowledge that colorism exists. through individual, institutional encounters, and that it occurs across races, right? So you want to acknowledge that it does exist. You have to acknowledge it in order to address it.
Yes, I mean, if you want to fix something, we've got to acknowledge it exists. It might not be important to you, but you don't know how your child or an aunt or an uncle growing up was affected by colorism. So you must acknowledge it exists.
And
Okay?
also, Ms. Cox, I would like to jump in and say that it's easy to say, oh, well, this is just what grandmother used to say, or this is just what I've learned. But it's safe to say that in life, sometimes we do learn some things wrong.
Yes. Next, in order to heal, we have to have that difficult conversation about the implications of colorism. That means sitting with abuelita and saying, you know what, abuelita, it's not right when you make different, like you treat one child differently because one is güerito and the other one is morenito. Even in my family, my grandmother treated my cousin Clay better because he was light skinned with red hair than some of the others. It's difficult, Dr. Cox, but you have to have it.
Also, the comments, there was a comment in the chat about comments that grandparents' family made when people start getting darker in the sun. And how
that comment was made to me. I can vouch for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, get out the sun, you're getting too dark, that type of stuff.
And that's across the board. You see my little Asian kids out there with an umbrella. They don't want to get dark. Black kids, I'm not trying to get blacker, even though they are black, you know? So, but yet the white kids are out there in the sun, you know? So we have to have that tough talk. It's not going to be easy. Next, in order to heal, Dr. Cox, we have to identify and define words that might cause skin tone trauma and be aware of how those words might affect others. I said this before. You think it's funny. You think, it's no big deal. This is all, why is she even talking about colorism? It's no big deal. But maybe to someone else in your familia, you know, it's important. Dr. Cox?
Yeah, and you know, you just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it doesn't affect someone else. Just because it's something that was culturally passed on does not mean that someone else is okay with that same you know, comments and references and just being sensitive to that. If someone doesn't like it, they have the right not to like it.
And last but not least, healing. Believe others when they are open about trauma implications of colorism that they are experiencing. I remember when Mariah Carey came forward talking about the struggles of being a biracial person, there were many people, some of my friends, what's she talking about? She didn't have any struggles. She's light skinned, she's next to white, she has all these privileges. But I'm like, hey, you guys, if she's telling her story, at least believe her, listen to her. Listen to what she went through. You didn't go through it, but who's to say that she didn't go through some tough times, right? So you guys, let's try practicing a little bit of empathy. Dr. Cox?
There's a meaningful comment. It says,
okay,
stop laughing at stereotypes in front of our children.
Exactly. That's true. Don't we often make jokes about it like it's not funny? The dark and dookie joke, the you're so black or whatever, you got to smile for me to see you at night. Those are the things that we're going to have to be aware of, identify it, call students on it. I do all the time. You do the same in your household. When you see your older son making fun of the younger son because he's darker or lighter, call him on it. Teach him about it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, as an educator, I have had to correct, again, the colorism in classroom where we have one group of Black kids referring to another group of Black kids as being dark. And I called it out. Who said that this is wrong? Who said that being dark is wrong? And as an educator, I've given lessons on various shades of skin. Who told you that this is wrong? There's nothing wrong with it. And letting people have a different perspective of beauty.
Right. Thoughts? Any more thoughts, Joaquin, in the chat?
An interesting comment about term coconut. White on the inside, brown on the outside. Very sad.
And you know what is so funny? My sister and I, when we were talking about colorismo, it's not just the skin, it's the way maybe people think. sometimes in our culture, usually people of color, I think in the Latino and the Black culture, if you're educated, you're trying to be white. You're trying to be blanco, right? You're trying to be like the white folks versus you want to keep it real. What? So, and my kids do that. So if doing well in school is being white, so what's being Black? What's being Latino? Does being Mexican mean you can't do well in school? They're not being true to your people. You know what I'm saying? I've heard Black and Latino students say that. I'm like, we got to break that. We got to stop that thinking. We all deserve to be educated. So now, having said that, so I want to show you guys this. In the 1940s, because we only got a few more seconds, this is only 2 minutes. In the 1940s, they did a test with the doll test. And what they wanted to show is how segregation affects children, Black children, children of color in the 40s. Well, in Italy, they replicated the same study. So this was done in 2020 in Italy. I hope you can hear it. Check out. Let me know if you can hear it.
No sound.
Oh, it hasn't started yet. Can you hear it now?
Quale bambola è bianca?
Yeah.
Quale bambola è nera? Quale delle due è bella?
Questa.
Qual è quella bella? Qual è quella brutta? E qual è quella buona? Quale è cattiva? Qual è buona? Perché è buona?
Perché ha gli occhi celesti.
Quale è cattiva? Perché è cattiva?
Perché è tutto nero.
E qual è la bambola che ti somiglia di più? Quale bambola è nera?
Mi ha offeso. Tu. Perché mi hai chiamato nero? Mi offendi perché altri bambini mi...
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am Joy Cox. I hope that you all learned something today about colorismo. You know what it looks like, you know what it sounds like, and even today, and that was done in 2020 in Italy, we have babies who are growing up feeling that being darker is ugly. I'm Joy Cox, and
I am Dr. Dawn Cox.
And if you all have any questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to email me.
On the survey.
And Joaquin, I know you wanted to talk about the survey and go ahead.
I just posted a survey. It is very crucial, important for us to get your feedback. So please complete the survey. It's gonna take only a couple of minutes. It's right there on the chat room. Also, with what we learned today of this amazing presentation, all this pejorative, demeaning language hurt our families, our children. Please link your families with resources, with mental health. I'm about to put the mental health phone number there. So if your children are struggling with this, self-esteem is a major symptom of depression, and all this colorism and all this negativity affect our children. So please connect our families with resources. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for taking that survey. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Madonna. We appreciate you. Now that you know what it looks like, call it out when you hear it. Be brave enough to hear it. Thank you, Miss Madonna. I appreciate you, Victoria. Thank you, Miss Catherine. Be blessed, Mr. King. Thank you so much, Yesenia. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking that survey. We want to do better. We want to be better. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Joaquin. He put in the chat the phone number that you all can contact. Thank you, Miss Nicole. We love you. Thank you. On to the next session. You all be blessed. Spread the word about what we're learning about. Thank you. You all have a blessed day. Make sure you take that survey. Hi, Miss Ruby. How are you? If ever you are in doubt, remember what Mama told me. Thank you so much, you all, for joining us. Ruby, me siento mala porque no podemos traducir a español, but I'm hoping that the majority of them got it. All right. Thank you. I never trade you for anybody else. It was like a trophy when Naomi's walking. She need an Oscar for that pretty dark skin. Pretty like Lupita when the camera's closing. Drip broke the levy when my killer's broke. Thank you so much, Miss Smith. We appreciate you. We are hoping that you will help spread the word about what colorismo is. Thank you so much. Hello, Miss Chandra. We're glad to see you today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
I got a question real quick before we get off the meeting.
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you guys gonna next time make sure you read the chats, because there's a lot of positive things I put in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh wow! Now
It was really hard. It was really hard to keep up with all the comments
because everyone was chatting really.
Yeah.
So if you want to look back at the comments, there's a lot of positive things I put in there. Like, and questions, why would they even do this in the beginning for little ones? You know, that's kind of messed up in my eyes.
No, I hear you.
I'm mixed with Filipino and American Indian, and I feel for those people that do that. And like, you know, to be honest, a lot of people like my skin color. That's why I'm like, you know, I don't give a, poop about what the other people say. That's what we need more, positive thinking like that. Like, I'm a strong-minded person, so.
Amen. Good for you,
Like,
sister.
why would they do this? Why,
It was colonialism, love.
Yeah, a sense of importance. I'm better than you because, and it's archaic, it's obsolete. We don't need it. We never did need it. And you're going to be stuck with you for a long time. So you might as well love every aspect of you.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand why they do this to little kids at a young age. Now they're thinking that since my skin tone color is darker than the others, I'm going to be a bad person. That's what they're going to grow up to be. That's what I see.
Self-hatred.
Like, why?
Self-hatred. And we have a lot of it. We have a lot of self-hatred.
Now we do for sure.
We do. And we got to break that cycle.
When I was younger, I never seen videos like this ever happen before. Now, like, since it's a new beginning, I feel so bad for young ones, even the people that have kids nowadays, like barely babies. I hope and pray they don't show this video to these kids now, because this youth society is not good anymore. It's going downhill, especially with racism.
Well, you know what? But you know what, my sister, can I call you sister? Because I consider you a sister. It's up to us. Us having this right now is the step toward fixing this. Now that we know, what do you do with the info? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna spread the word. I'm a very talkative person. I'm gonna let people know how I feel.
That's what's up. That's right. That's what we
do.
People
need to be informed of where this is coming from, because a lot of times this is just how grandmother was or grandpa, but where is it coming from? And now that you know what it is, make a change.
Yep. And then when you're welcome. If my family members, like any family members of mine, will ever say something that like racial slurs, I will tell them something. I get mad at them, like, stop being racist. That is not right. You guys should not be talking about people's skin color like that. Because
Yeah.
I do have some family members that are kind of racist, and I get mad at them. I'm like, you need to stop. Seriously?
Good for you. Good for you. And it's hard, huh? It's
Yes, it
difficult, but we
is.
got to
It
do it
is.
because
Yes.
sometimes
Yeah,
we're
Joy,
worse.
You got to tell her about Crystal breaking down crime.
But we will. We got 4 minutes to the next one.
Yeah.
So do I have a moment to get some water?
Yeah.
You do.
Comments, Chandra. Appreciate it.
Yo.
Thank
Okay,
you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
Bye.
Thank
Be
you.
safe.
Bye,
Be
love.
safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So maybe
So what do you think, Joy?
yeah,
I don't
let's
know.
reflect.
Be brief. I counted 35 people at one time. Was that correct?
Okay.
What?
Do you all
I
feel
counted 35 people
is
at
there
one time.
something more or less we need to do next time?
Well, let me share the challenge with the chat is that some of them are writing essays, and it's really hard to keep.
Yeah, that's why I tried to jump in. I was trying to jump in. I'm like, Joaquin, I'm going to pass you up on this one, man. They were really like it was blowing up.
Yes.
So maybe what we could do if it's like Joaquin and Dawn, y'all can go back and forth. Do you think, Juliana, most of them understood what I'm saying? I think
I
they
was
got the
gonna
gist
ask
of
you,
it.
I'm
Huh?
sorry. If you want to ask before or at the beginning of your session, if I need to translate, I'm here for that. So
You know what? Maybe that's what we'll do next time. You
Yeah.
know, when we introduce ourselves, then Juliana, you can introduce yourself and say, "Hey, this is what I'm here for."
because I keep seeing a bar, but nothing. It didn't say anything. Were you getting that? It
I
was like
saw the black bar, but there was nothing in it.
I was wondering if that was the clicking into me translating, but there was no.
Oh,
I kept
do you
looking at.
think was Ruby able to check in with Eddie? Because I saw where Ruby came in. Was she able to check that or?
Were you all able to see? Okay, the bar, did it block the pictures, or were you still able to see the information?
No, it was just on the top. It was a
Yeah,
tiny.
like was that translation? Like were they trying to translate it? Or?
I was wondering if that's what it was, but
Okay, so Journey said he saw it too. Oh my God, I don't know. I don't know what to do. What do we do?
Well, didn't you say Ruby came in? Was Eddie able to do anything or fix it or?
I thought Eddie was gonna work on
Yeah,
that.
I thought that's
Yeah,
why
where
she
is
came
Eddie?
in. Yeah, and
Where is that Eddie?
where's the Five Guys burgers? Doesn't that sound
I know
good?
that sounds good, Shane.
Yeah, it does. Let Shane pay for it, his treat. But I think that went really well. Joaquin, did you count more than 35 people or no?
Yes, there were more than 35 people.
Okay. Oh, how many did you count?
I saw 35 at some point, but I think that was probably the number.
I think 3 more joined it later. So
like 38?
35. Yeah.
Okay. So then my question is, so we start in like what, 4 minutes, 11:45?
Yeah, we start at 11. Oh, okay, 11:40.
We started at 10:45. The next one should have started a minute ago.
Yeah, and
all right then.
So we need to start now.
Okay, then let's go ahead and let me get my música. Voy a poner mi música, you know. All right. Little girl. Hello, welcome. Hi, Miss Marla. I see you here. Welcome. Hello, Miss Williams. Patrick's Galaxy. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Miss Debbie Collier. Hello, welcome. Leanne. Glad to see you, Miss Leanne. Hi, Rocio, mi hermana. Hola, Rocio. How you doing? Welcome.
My music.
Hey, good to see you guys. Come on in, let us know who you are, where you're from. Yes, yes. Look at all these wonderful people, Dr. Cox, in here.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew, is that my student, Andrew? Hey, Andrew. Puntos adicionales para ti, Andrew. I got you, baby. Good hair means curls and waves. He wants those extra credit points. At the turn of the century. All right. Good to see you. Háblame en español, Andrew. Hola. Salúdame en español. Hi, Brianna. How are you? Good to see you, Daisy. want to start? All right, welcome. While we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and start off with the question? What do you already know about colorism? Let's tap into your prior knowledge, everybody. What do you already know about colorism? Ay, sí. Hey, Rocío. Yo quiero ser bonita como usted, señora. What do you all already know about colorism? ¿Qué es colorismo? ¿Han oído de esta palabra, colorismo? You know what it is? Have you heard about it? Huh?
Si ves bella, dice
Okay, so once again, for those of you who are in here, let's start off with prior knowledge. Brianna, Daisy, Andrew, what do you all know about colorism? Have you heard of it before? Rocio, Leanne, have you heard of colorismo? Anything in the chat, Sarah? Marla? All right, well, I'm gonna assume that they don't know much about it. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Yes, yes. Give me one moment. Are you all able to see my presentation? Yes or no? Dr. Cox, are you guys able to see that?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. Cox. All right.
You gonna say yes?
All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic called colorism. Dr. Cox?
Hi, my name is Dr. Dawn Cox. I have a doctorate in education, leadership, and management, and I've been teaching for 20 years at Linwood Unified School District.
And my name is Joy Cox. I have a master's in education. I've been working at Palm Springs Unified School District for about 10 years, but teaching overall for 21 years. But we are not alone. We have some wonderful moderators. Moderators, introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Shane Hagar, principal of Rancho Mirage Elementary. Been with Palm Springs Unified for 24 years and currently working on my doctorate in educational leadership.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joaquin Galeano. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work for the mental health department. Great to be here with all of you.
And we also have a wonderful translator here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Juliana Rodriguez and I work at the Palm Springs Unified School District as an office technician for the Early Childhood Education Department.
And we're having issues with our translation. So I'm thinking, Ms. Juliana, that maybe from time to time, if you can translate a little bit, write a little something in the chat for those para los padres que no hablan muy bien el inglés, you know, maybe something so they can understand the gist of what we're talking about. But we appreciate you all being here. So with that in mind, Dr. Cox, we want to go over the code of conduct while in class. Number one, respect other people's opinions while you're here. Dr. Cox?
We just want to make sure that this is an open forum for people to express their thoughts or ask questions, and they are not going to be criticized or ridiculed for their preconceived notion, thoughts, or what they may or may not know.
Having said that, number two, numero dos, you guys feel free to share your thoughts and views. We have the wonderful moderators out there. They're going to try as much as possible to read in the chat what you write. Numero tres, we can agree to disagree, right, Dr. Cox?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
when we think about when we agree to disagree, we're able to respect and learn from one another, respect and learn from one another. And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a negative confrontation. Just express your thoughts and share.
Right. I don't always agree with Dr. Cox, and that's okay. She does not always agree with me, and that's okay. And that's how we learn, right? Number four. You guys are probably going to hear some uncomfortable terms, and I apologize ahead of time, but the whole purpose of this is to keep it real. What does colorism look like? What does it sound like? So for the sake of this presentation, I feel it's necessary to use that language. So you'll see as we go along. Are there any questions about the code of conduct?
There's a comment, discrimination based on the skin color. It happens a lot in our communities.
So we already have some people who know a little something about colorismo. So thank you for that. Now, what I like to do whenever I teach a lesson is start off with a story. Pero primero, ¿quién es ella? Who is she? Have you all seen her before? Anybody? In the chat, any comments? Have they seen her before?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay. Well, while you guys are responding, let me share with you who this beautiful lady is. Her name is Yalitza Aparicio. Wait, say it again.
My paisana.
Okay. Right. And she
from my
is
region, from my country.
Oh,
Okay.
very good.
All right.
Very good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That's the comment.
Beautiful. Very good. Very
Thank
good.
you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys.
Wasakenya.
Okay.
Wasaka.
Okay. So she's Azteca. All right. So for those who don't know her, this is Yalitza Aparicio. She's an indigenous Aztec of Mexico, but she's a Mexican actress known for her film debut in the film Roma. Remember Roma from 2018? Now, she was the first indigenous woman of the Americas to be nominated for Academy. I think she's the second Mexican woman after Salma Hayek. So what happened? When she was nominated for her role, there was a Mexican TV network that criticized her by putting on brown face. They did a brown face parody of the Roma star Yalitza Aparicio. In particular, the individual who did this was Yika Rosales. She posted videos of herself on social media wearing brown skin paint. So she darkened her skin and put on a fake nose to sort of exaggerate her nose features and basically was making fun of her. Okay. So when I was look at this, the question I asked myself is why? Why would she do this? You know, you would think that there would be great joy in the fact that you have an indigenous woman accepting the award. But thus was not the case. As a matter of fact, I remember reading an article about a well-known telenovela star who was a male that referred to Yalitza as a, excuse my language, a pinche India. Why? Why would they do that? Well, when I was doing my research for Colorismo in the Latin community, think about it. I used to watch telenovelas back in the day, like Dos Mujeres Un Camino with Eric Estrada back in the day. But when I pulled up telenovela stars, whether they're from Venezuela or Argentina or Puerto Rico or Mexico, they tend to look like the individuals on the left. Look at them. Like we have this señorita right here, Kate Del Castillo. Dr. Cox, would you agree she's a beautiful lady?
Oh, absolutely. Very attractive.
Yeah, I mean, mira, que guapo él es. Look at him, Gabriel Soto. Gorgeous, good-looking guy. This beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, beautiful skin. No one is taking that away from them. They're absolutely gorgeous. But the question is, why do we tend to see more stars that look like them instead of the Lupita Nyong'os? Now, yes, she is of African ancestry, but she was born in Mexico, right? Or what about Yalitza? Why don't we see more telenovelas with Latinas that look like these ladies? You don't. And so that's our thought. Why? Why is it if I turn on Telemundo or Univision, most of the news anchor people, the commercials look more like the individuals on the left, more so than on the right? Thoughts? What are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? ¿Por qué? ¿Por-quoi? While they're writing in the chat, what do you think, Dr. Cox?
I think that the society has tapped into a certain perceived hierarchy of beauty, and they're trying to make it a standard what is considered attractive and what is considered noticeable and what's considered positive in the public eye, you know, in the media. Right. That's what I personally think. Yeah.
Thank you. And what are they saying in the chat, Joaquin?
You know, I'm not getting any movement here on the chat, so okay. I don't know. Okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Someone agrees with me. Brianna agrees with me.
Okay. Thank you, Brianna. Okay, so there's some agreements, okay? So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let's explicitly define colorism. Dr. Cox, ¿qué es colorismo? What is colorism?
So colorism is a term believed to be first coined in 1982 by Pulitzer Prize winner Alice Walker, was defined to mean that it is a prejudicial or preferential treatment of same race people based solely on the color of their skin. It is not necessarily racism, but it is a link between the two. It's a clear relationship between the two.
Right. Now, one thing I want to stress with you guys is a prejudicial and a preferential treatment of same race people. Think back to Yalitza Aparicio. It wasn't white folks that were upset that she was nominated. It wasn't Black folks. There were Mexicans that were mad. How dare you nominate this India? Why? Because she doesn't look what you consider acceptable as a Mexican? So that's what colorismo deals with. It's a prejudice, okay? So where did this come from? Ladies and gentlemen, while colorism has roots in slavery, definitely, and colonialism, it has carried over into mainstream popular culture as well. So what we're saying is when Europeans conquered and colonized the Americas, Africa, Asia, they took with them a system that they put in place to keep them in power, okay? So for example, if we look at los españoles, let's look at the Spanish. They have this is called la casta. I don't know if you all have ever heard of it. La casta is like a caste system. So if you look at the triangle, at the very top, Dr. Cox, are the peninsulares. The peninsulares are those Spaniards born in España, or we can also apply this to the French, Dutch, English, born in Europe. They were at the top. Who's underneath them? The criollos, the creoles, the creoles. Now, they were still Spanish or French, but they were born in the Americas or wherever new place, but they're still of European ancestry. Another thing you guys need to realize is when the Spanish in particular came to the Americas, they mixed with the indigenous. So guess what? We got this new group of people called mestizos. So what are mestizos? They're part Spanish, part European, part indigenous. They're not quite white, they're not quite indigenous. So, we'll put them there like in the middle. Below them are mulattos. Mulattos, which literally means little mules, is a term used to describe those Africans who have European blood. So look at that hierarchy. A mulatto is slightly higher than an indigenous, but it's still not as high as a mestizo or peninsulares. And of course, we see toward the bottom where Yalitza would have been, right? The Native Americans. And at the very bottom, Africans. Now, I'm going to argue, Dr. Cox, I don't think per se that there is inherent in some type of inferiority because I'm darker. But what does this system do? It keeps the working class in check. It keeps them there. And it keeps those that benefit at the top. After the Spanish or the French or the Europeans established it, we embraced it. And now it's so ingrained that a lot of us don't even realize we practice colorism, right, Dr. Cox?
Yeah, it's people don't give it a second thought. It's been mainstreamed.
Very mainstream. So, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we try let's go around the world. Let's take a look at Asia. What does colorismo or colorism look like in the Asian culture? And I want to remind you guys, this is a prejudice within the group that is practiced. So here's some trivia. Get ready, Joaquin. Here's some trivia from India, you guys. Which is the highest grossing beauty product in India? Is it A, permanent makeup? What is it? Maquillaje permanente, right? Hair extensions, like como una peluca, not exactamente, but to make your hair longer. Henna tattoos, the tatuajes that you put on your hands or around your face or whatever, or none of these. So let's take a look, Dr. Cox. What are they going to say? I wonder. What are they saying in the chat, Joaquin? What are they?
You guys put it in the chat box.
I haven't seen them yet.
All right, come on, folks.
I see. Some people are saying D.
D.
What?
Some people are saying henna tattoos, none of the above, none of these.
Okay. All
Yeah, they're
right.
putting it in there. They're putting it in there.
Colorism comes from colonialism and slavery.
Okay. Okay. All
Very
right.
good.
All right. And the highest growing beauty product in India? None of these. It's skin bleaching cream, Dr. Cox. Have you all
Yes,
even
it
heard of
is.
skin bleaching cream? We're going to get in that in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, the market, which include creams, face washes, like if I want my face to be lighter, I can wash my face with the skin bleaching products. Deodorants, what you'll find us darker people, a lot of times underneath our armpits and parts of the body, like our elbows, our knees, tend to be a little bit darker. So there are creams that you can buy to bleach those part of the body. Now in India, where their currencies are the rupees, it's like a 270 billion rupee a year, market. In dollars, $4 billion, and it's growing. So you see in India advertisements where you have this brown woman who she uses that cream. Ultimately, you have a beautiful light skin. Yeah. So I'm just curious out there. Did you guys even know about skin bleaching cream? Have you heard of skin bleaching cream? Have you seen it on the aisles at Walmart, at Target? Have you heard of it? What are they saying?
Some names. What are some brand names you know of?
Yeah, do you know of any? Have you heard of any?
Wow, incredible. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Cox, what have you heard of? What are some of the skin bleaching creams you've
Well,
heard of?
I remember seeing the Natanola bleaching cream, and then also you got the Ultimate whitening cream. You got all kinds of products out there.
Oh, how about this one? Skin Success. If you want success, you have to have skin success. So what is skin success? Lighter skin? Hey. Anything in the chat, Joaquin?
Says that person would think that people refuse to buy it, but I guess not.
Yeah, they're doing it. Oh, you mean you guys don't want to buy some lighten up? Come on, lighten up. Get some. Right? And while you're lightening up, you become fair and lovely. Not to be mixed up with dark and lovely, but fair and lovely.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that right, Joaquin? You want some skin bleaching cream, Joaquin?
Absolutely.
With a little mint tea on the side. Yeah.
So all the joking aside, ladies and gentlemen, I think some of you guys might have never even heard of it. So what is skin bleaching cream, Dr. Cox?
Skin bleaching is the act of using steroid and chemical containing products to lighten the skin. Hydroquinone and kojic acid are often used in skin creams.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are people throughout Asia, throughout the Latin Americas, and throughout Africa that are willing to lighten their skin with the skin bleaching cream. Never mind doctor's warning of maybe you might make yourself too dark or suffering from kidney or liver damage. And if it's made outside the United States, you might get mercury poisoning. Dr. Cox, I think you had said not only women, but men too are willing to risk their lives to lighten their skins, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And another thing I want to bring to y'all attention, this is, as I stated before, it's the #1 beauty product in India. So speaking of men and women, I want you all to take a look at the individuals on the left. When I typed in Bollywood actors, overwhelmingly, they look like the individuals on the left. Now, Dr. Cox, would you agree they're very attractive people, correct?
Oh, very attractive, very fair-skinned.
Yes, attractive and fair skin. So the question is, why don't we see just as many Bollywood actors that look like those individuals on the right? Why not? That's the question we need to ask. And speaking of which, why not? Thoughts. I want to stop, give everybody out there in the audience, what are your thoughts thus far on what we have presented to you? Don't be shy. So what are some of the thoughts, Dr. Cox and Joaquin? What are they saying in the chat?
No comments yet.
Okay, well, we have a shy group. That's okay. So at least you're having a chance.
Would you
to think
guys
about them.
even, I mean, comparing those two pictures, there is a huge contrast in
Yes.
appearances between the people on the left and the people on the right and what is marketed. Why do you think that is the case?
The society has high beauty standards.
That is true.
Right, a specific type, right? Speaking of Asia, I want to bring you guys to the next trivia question for you guys. So come on. If you thought this was a seminar where you're going to sit and do nothing, wake up. All right, having said that, I don't know if you guys have heard of Quora. They have questionnaires where they discuss topics like this. So they had a questionnaire for the Philippines. So here's the question. What is the ideal standard of beauty in the Philippines? Come on, people in the chat. What is the ideal standard of beauty in the Philippines? I can't wait to hear what you write. Come on, visitors.
Now, while they are writing, there was a comment that a lot of nations spend a lot of money, millions in this product so that people.
Yes, they do. Very true.
Repercussions.
Yes, very true. Any guesses on the ideal standard of beauty in the Philippines? Crickets? Oh, no.
They said lightning skin. Someone put in there lightning skin.
Okay. All right.
Very good. Any other comments? Someone else said the same.
All right. Well, let's see. What do you think, Dr. Cox? You think they're right?
I agree. I think it has to do something with the skin.
Yes. You guys know what you signed up for, colorism, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the number one beauty standard is for fair skin and clear complexion. Now, Dr. Cox, we agree we don't want bumpy skin. We all want clear skin. But why fair skin comes before the clear complexion, right?
Yeah.
And we see on the left, I did the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. I typed in Filipino actors and actresses. Overwhelmingly, look at on the left. How would you describe them, Dr. Cox?
Once again, we have a parallel between them and the other group of people we were looking at in India.
Right. Overwhelmingly, Filipino actors that are successful look like them. Yeah, you can tell they have Filipino in them, but overwhelmingly light skin, and we can also argue the more European or Western eyes, right?
Yeah, the facial features. Yeah.
Have you heard of the Ida tribe, Dr. Cox?
I have.
Now, what can you share with them about the Ida tribe? Maybe some of them don't even know about it.
Okay, there is a question.
Yes.
Here. And someone is asking if what's the norm for beauty in the Filipino culture?
Oh, what's the norm?
Yes.
Okay, you know what?
Sorry, doctor. I was trying to translate here and there for the Spanish audience, if there is any. So that was me.
Oh.
So I'm doing part of the Spanish. So in case anybody is reading the chat.
Es el piel clara es para el estándar de belleza en la cultura filipina es tener el piel más claro. Sí, that's the number one standard. The fair skin. Does that answer? See?
Comment. People in our society want to impose a prototype of beauty based on the color of the skin. The reality is that this prototype is not true for everyone.
And thank you for that. And that's what we need to expand upon. That overwhelmingly, this to the left is what we often see. And what Dr. Cox, did you share with them what the Ida group is, the Ida tribe?
My understanding is they are the indigenous people of the Philippines.
Yeah, how many of you all knew this? If you look at the group of people right here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, they're the indigenous people of the Philippines. How many of you all knew that? How often do we see that? Or why don't we see Filipinas like this lady, or she's half Filipina? Why don't we see darker? So once again, we see, ladies and gentlemen, that wherever colonialism went, they took with them a standard, a hierarchy, we embraced it, and we apply it to what we consider beautiful and what we consider as acceptable. Thoughts? I want to give you all an opportunity to reflect, to speak your mind, to say anything. Anything in the chat?
No comment.
All right, then we're going to keep on going, ladies and gentlemen, when you all want to speak. All right, I have another trivia for you. What is
hold
the...
on, Joy, I do have a comment.
see. Yes.
Colorism be discrete, like
microaggression.
Oh, that's a great, yeah, there can be. You know what? If you hold on, I'm going to show you in a second how oftentimes through microaggressions that colorism is demonstrated. Can you hold on 1 second? I'm going to get to that. Thank you for that.
Very good.
Yes, it is. So with that in mind, here's your next trivia, everybody out there in the chat. Let us know, what is the brown paper bag test? Think about it. We went to the Latin Americas. We went to Asia, whether it was India or the Philippines. Now let's bring it on home, a los Estados Unidos, to the United States. What is the brown paper bag test? You think they'll be able to figure it out, Dr. Cox?
I think so.
All right, anything, any guesses out there? Brown paper bag test.
Waiting.
Nada?
Nada todavía, nada.
Oh my goodness, so that means maybe they don't know what it is. Well,
oh, wow.
Make a guess, folks.
Yeah, come on, take a guess. Brown paper bag test. Oh, Dr. Cox, they don't want to take a guess. It's all good. All right, Dr. Cox, spill some knowledge on them. What is the brown paper bag test?
This test was allegedly used to determine what privileges individuals were allowed. Only those with skin color that matched or was lighter than a brown paper bag were allowed admission or membership privileges. This test was believed to be used in the 20th century by many African-American social institutions, or also including sororities, fraternities, and churches.
Yes, Dr. Cox, please share with them the story that my mom told us about the brown paper bag.
Well, we heard many stories growing up of if you date someone, make sure they're no darker than a brown paper bag. So think about the brown paper bag that you used to put your lunch into and go off to elementary school. You're not supposed to be any darker than that.
Right. I know for a fact, I used to hear a story about Creole people in Louisiana. For those of you who don't know the Creole people are those of African ancestry that mix with French. If you weren't lighter than a paper bag, you couldn't join certain churches. If you weren't lighter than a paper bag, they wouldn't hire you. So that was in the African American culture. And to this day, I hear some of my kids who, I don't like her, she's too dark. Or I don't like him, he's dark as this. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we defined what colorism is. What is it again, Dr. Cox?
Colorism is defined as the prejudicial or preferential treatment of same-raced people based solely on their color.
And we educated you guys on how it looks like in Mexico, Venezuela, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay. We looked at it in India. We looked at it in the Philippines and in the United States with Black folks that we practice colorism also. What does it sound like? Wake up. Time to wake up. We have some colorism terms. So this is going back to the sister that asked about microaggression. So what we have here are a list of terms that are used around the world. Keep it real with us. If you've heard of it, say yes in the chat. If you've never heard of it, it's all good. You haven't heard of it, all right? Why don't we start off with the first one, Dr. Cox? What's the first one?
First one is referred to as high yellow or high yellow.
Have you guys ever heard of that? I want a high yellow girl, or she's high yellow. Anything, Joaquin?
No, but people are surprised at the
Some people are saying I never heard of that before. Sorry,
high
Joaquin.
yellow. Yeah.
One person has. One person says yes. Some people said no.
So one person, high yellow, for those who don't know, is a Black person that is so light, the skin sort of looks yellowish like, but they're super light skin.
Thinking about Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys.
Term here, morenita, but muy despectivo, kind of despective.
Oh.
Okay, what did they say about morenito otra vez?
For the high yellow.
Oh, for the high yellow. Okay.
Really?
Ooh. Interesting. What about red bone? Have you guys ever heard of that? That's very Southern. I want me, Little Wayne, for those who listen to Little Wayne, said, I want me a red bone. And a red bone is a woman or a person. The thought is that they are part Native American, so that they have a reddish color to their skin. They're red. Red bone, anybody? Heard of it?
I have.
Nope.
All right. What's the next one, Dr. Cox? They might have heard of.
Treated like a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, we were talking about that. What does that mean? So what does that say for the redheaded child? In a way, that's colorism. Why is it that you have to be treated like a redheaded stepchild? What does that say about having red hair?
Oh.
It's considered negative. It's considered not an attractive thing to have.
Right. Anything in the chat, Joaquin?
No.
Okay. Now this one is where the disrespect, but I'm trying to, for those of you that are teachers, for those of you who work with kids, you'll hear, oh, you're dark as Dookie, or you're so dark, you have to smile. Any of the yo so dark or your mama so dark jokes, or you're dark as an African booty scratcher, though it's sort of juvenile, right, Dr. Cox?
Yeah.
But
very much so.
Heard on it's done and it's said on the playground. So now you guys know what it sounds like. What's the next one, Dr. Cox?
Casper.
Yes, we've been talking about colorismo in terms of it being negative, being dark. But what about those kids that are super fair, that are light skinned, being called Casper? What does that do to them? Right?
Diminutive terms could be perceived as derogatory.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Or I know, ya lo sé que en Cuba, por ejemplo, que comparan sus mujeres al café, right? Por ejemplo, yo soy un café negra, right? Because I'm dark black. Or café con leche. I want café con leche, like a woman who's a little lighter, right? Right? That's in the Cuban, la cultura cubana. I know that. Okay.
Canela.
How many of you guys, when the baby is born in the Latino culture, oh, mira que güerito, oh, qué precioso que él es güerito con los ojos azules. You go on and on about how white the baby looks, and you nickname him güero. How many of you heard that?
I have.
The answer
They
is
said,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. Question is why? Why does he have to be nicknamed güero? Or if he's dark Mexican or dark skinned Latino, morenito or negrito, calling him that like it's a bad thing. Why? So we see these are the terms. For the lady who asked about microaggressions, yes, we hear these terms all the time. So the question is why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por cuá? Are these terms of endearment? I've heard that, Dr. Cox, right? That, oh, that's just what we say. It's just what we say. It means that we love them. We call them güerito or whatever. But are they terms of endearment, Dr. Cox?
You know what? No. I mean, I think that it's something that we can say is familiar to us. This is what grandmother said or grandpa said, and it's just been passed down. But the person that you might be referring to may or may not like it, right, because you're trying to define them by something they had no control over.
Right. Yeah. Joaquin?
Yeah, prietico, that's another term. They say he or she is muy prietico.
Prietico. ¿Y qué significa eso, prietico?
Prietito, Joy.
Okay, ¿qué significa eso?
Prietito. And, you know, sometimes when you mention a child is born and they say, oh, mira, este está bien güerito. Y luego, sometimes, you know, they say, oh, mira, oh, nació bien prietito. Como muy morenito, you know, muy moreno.
Muy moreno.
Prietito.
Nunca he oído esta palabra. Yo aprendí una nueva palabra hoy. Oh, thank you.
Learn a new word. Learn a new word.
Yes, I've never heard it, but that's interesting. So, Dr. Cox, I know you had a deep question for them. Remember your deep question?
Yeah, I guess I do. So my statement I want to make is, are we still allowing an archaic value system to define beauty? Why can't we be defined by variations of beauty? Why are we using something that was used to keep people subservient or oppressed to still define our society today, just all the beautiful people? Why are they being defined by this archaic system?
Right, and that's a question we have to ask ourselves. So we've defined colorismo. We showed you guys what it looked like. We explained to you guys what it sounds like. Let's take some steps toward healing. So I know we're getting short on time, so I want to expedite this. So I was reading something by Antoinette Lander. She's an assistant professor. And she said that her research shows that we need to unmask skin tone wounds and promote healing for individuals, for families, and communities that suffer from skin tone trauma. I think we don't realize it because we have so normalized colorism that we don't think anything of it. Lander offered the following advice. First thing, Dr. Cox, what must we do?
We need to acknowledge that colorism exists through individual institutional encounters and that it occurs across the races. Before you can solve a problem, you have to acknowledge that there is a problem that needs to be solved.
Right, you have to acknowledge it exists, okay? Next, if we want healing, you guys, we have to have those difficult conversations about the implication of colorismo. That means calling out abuelita. Abuelita, I love you, I respect you, but maybe you learned something. I know that might be hard to do, but sit him or her down and explain that what they're doing is hurtful. Usually it's the tios, the tias, the abuelitos. I know my big mama, Mama Joe, she was very colorist. She treated my cousin Clay better than us because he was light with red hair and we were darker.
And also because he was a boy.
Yeah, that's true, but that's another story.
Another topic.
We have to have that conversation. Healing means, you guys, we have to identify and define words that might cause skin tone trauma. Stop it with the güeritos. Stop it with the morenito, pretitos. Stop it with the, maybe, like, for example, I know this is going slightly off. They used to call my mother Black China. Why did they call her Black China? Because her eyes were slanted. So we can even say, hey, colorismo deals with not only skin color, but eye shape, hair texture, all of those things. We have to identify those words and make our children realize, hey, you know what? Maybe we learned some things wrong. What did you say, Dr. Cox, about that? It's okay to acknowledge what?
It's okay to acknowledge that you've learned some things wrong. It's been passed down from a cultural standpoint or just tradition. But it's okay to say, you know what, I need to go back and kind of fix some things that are not right. They're not acceptable.
Joaquin, you have something to say?
Comment. We need to teach our children to value and appreciate their skin color.
Amen. Amen. Exactly. Parents, you all got to step up and do it. Now, teachers too, if you're out there and you hear it on the playground, call it out. Not make someone feel bad, but say, you know what? Listen, maybe you need to rethink the way you speak. Healing means, you guys, believe others when they are open about their trauma and implication of colorism they are experiencing. For example, I remember I was watching a story on Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, as you guys know, she's Venezolana, she's negra, she's blanc, like from Ireland. Her mom's from Irish. She was talking about how it was for her to grow up. And I heard a lot of my friends putting her down. What's she talking about? She's almost white. She got it made. She got long hair. She's light skinned. All the guys, everybody will think she's pretty. So she's sitting here describing her pain. And we're like, wait a minute. Why are we not believing her? Let's believe her story, right, Dr. Cox?
Absolutely. We cannot define somebody else's pain. Just right. Because it doesn't bother you doesn't mean it's not going to bother the next person.
Okay. And having said that, ladies and gentlemen, as you get ready to write your final thoughts, the doll test. There was a doll test given in the 1940s to see the effect of segregation on Black children. Guess what? In Italy in 2020, they replicated the doll test. This is what's at stake if you all don't step up with us and help rid our cultures of colorismo. Check it out.
Quale bambola è bianca? Quale bambola è nera? Quale delle due è bella?
Questa.
Qual è quella bella? Qual è quella brutta? E qual è quella buona? Quale è cattiva? Qual è buona?
Lei.
Perché è buona?
Perché ha gli occhi celesti.
Quale è cattiva? Perché è cattiva?
Perché è tutto nero.
E qual è la bambola che ti somiglia di più?
Break an atom than a prejudice.
Quale bambola è nera?
Mi ha offeso. Tu. Perché mi hai chiamato nera?
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, my name is Joy Cox, and I worked with the wonderful
Dr. Dawn Cox.
Thank you. And here's what I'm asking, ladies and gentlemen. If at all you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to contact me. I would love to work with you. We've defined what colorism is. We've showed you what it looked like. We showed you what it sounded like. If you are an educator out there, it is incumbent upon you, when you hear your kids using that type of language out on the field, point it out. If you are a parent raising children, raising grandchildren, it is so important that you point it out. Let's deal with colorismo. Joaquin, I know you have some things to share.
Yes, along those lines, all these pejorative, demeaning, degrading words, language affect our families, our children. It affects their self-esteem. Low self-esteem is a symptom of depression. So please link your families, your kids to resources. I'm about to put the phone number for the mental health department, and so that you have that information available. I'm also going to be posting here the feedback. It is very important that you folks complete that. It's only going to take a couple of minutes. It's crucial for us to hear your feedback, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Muchísimas gracias, Rocio. Thank you, Ms. Carla. Please make sure you fill out the survey. Thank you, Brianna Hodges. Leanne, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you fill out that survey. Keep fighting the good fight. Jennifer, thank you so much. Andrew, muy bien, me alegro que estás aquí. Hey, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Joaquin posted his number. Feel free if you need to contact that number. Thank you so much, Ms. Patrick, Daisy, thank you. Thank you, Grandma Sim, for being here. Sarah, thank you. Oh, how cute that baby is, Sarah. How precious. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. We appreciate you all being here. Thank you. And the energy. Hey, we got energy. Hey. Thank you so much, love. Much love to you too, beautiful. Take care of that beautiful child of yours. Gorgeous. All right. Team, how you feeling? How you feeling, Joaquin? You okay?
Hey, great. I'm just waiting for the folks to see if there are any comments. It's a great presentation, amazing presentation.
Yeah. I feel so bad, Miss Juliana. Huh?
So you are a great group of people.
That was me.
Oh,
We were
That was
saying that
me.
about you all.
that's great.
Thank you so much, Joaquin. I appreciate you. Thank you, Shane, for letting the people in. Miss Juliana, I feel bad. I mean, do you think they were okay?
I hope so. I started translating in Spanish just in case anybody, but I keep checking. There was no question, so I didn't want to keep distracting Joaquin, so I stopped.
Right the way Joaquin was reading everything. Joaquin was just reading everything. He didn't
But I
care.
love your presentation. And you know what? 2 hours didn't last that long. It didn't feel like 2 hours.
Hey!
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
it went by so quick.
Wow,
You know, you know what? After the first session, I was kind of worried because that one girl was doing her dissertation on.
Oh my, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I text Joy. I said, "Don't we got to get ready for the second session?" This girl's having a Maury Povich moment, you know.
You know, the thing with the chat is that people vent and they just like write, and it's like, you know, really hard to keep up with all that. So
you know why, you guys? Because this hits home. This hits home. We don't talk about this in school. We don't. And this affects
if we do
all
anything in the wrong way, doctor, you know what I was thinking about, if I may share my thought about the pyramid that you show. You know how in school we're always being taught that pyramid, and how the why phrase, it's always, well, maybe we should flip it. And then, you know, because who says that's the top and that's the bottom? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know, and I, you know, I've had encounters where I've confronted, especially in the Black community, where they'll show Halle Berry versus Whoopi Goldberg, and Halle Berry's more socially acceptable because of her features versus Whoopi Goldberg. And so when I see my Black kids go there, I know it happens in the Latino community, but it's more prevalent to me, noticeable for me, because I know what to look for with the Black community. And I go there with my Black kids. Who told you? I had one kid tell me, "Oh, well, I'm not African." And I said, "You're not African American?" And it looked like a light bulb went off. Who told you you're not? If you did a DNA test, what are you gonna come up? Scandinavian like Joy? No, you're not. You know, so
1%.
1% Scandinavian. That's all you need.
I'm 4% Irish.
So my thing is, it needs to be addressed, and you need to get this mentality out that, you know, because I'm dark or because there's nothing wrong with you, and you don't have the right to attack somebody else because they look the way they do, and it needs to be addressed.
Right. Even with our redhead kids, I'm sort of sensitive to that, because a lot of times my redhead kids would bring that up to me, that they feel not as attractive, or so, you know, you'd be surprised, you know. So good job. Thank you all so much.
You know, it's fascinating because I grew up in a culture where it was the opposite. It was about looking darker.
Really?
Yeah. So I grew up like, you know, tanning until, you know, kind of there was skin cancer in my family, and I stopped, but I wasn't not even, I wanted to, you know, look darker. So so in my culture, that was like,
what culture is that? Where are you? Venezuela?
Colombia.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's crazy. So still willing to get skin cancer to look darker. Wow. That's still colorismo, no? That's still
right.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Wyoming, and I'm 40% Irish.
Hey.
But I'm in my family, I'm way, way darker complected than everybody. So growing up in area where there's Native American, I was always asked if I was, you know, what are you, Indian, or you Yatahe, or you honky? I heard that all the time.
Wow.
You honky, you Indian. I heard that all the time.
Man, you should have shared your story.
I didn't even think about it till this session.
Wow.
It came back to me. Yeah. You honky, you Indian.
Huh.
Wow. I thought that was something we just use in the South. They use it there too?
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
Did they ever use the term peckerwood or no?
Yeah.
Peckerwood?
Oh, wow.
Yep. Oh, and even my brother and sister, they always tease me that my dad's name Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, so
but my real dad is Eddie Guerrero.
Because you're darker than they are.
Yeah, way darker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Joy, tell them about Crystal.
Oh, no, that's another story. I gotta get ready to go, but no, I hear you though. But
that's something else.
Yeah, you should have shared your story. So it exists in the white culture too.
Yeah.
I guess in every culture. I mean, I was born and raised in Mexico, and I can tell you that even I mean, out there, for some reason, like lighter skinned people ended up in private schools, and I don't know how that happens, but it's just like it's a rule that everybody follows. If you're dark, I mean, like my color is it's dark still. I mean, so it's every culture. I mean, within your own people, you can call it, like you were explaining. It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. But it's
what my sister was telling
see.
me to tell you about our cousin. She started crying because they're mixed. They're Irish and Black, and she's the darker one. Right, Dawn? So she started crying.
She was considered the darkest one out of the group. And so she broke down crying. And I'm looking at this nut and I'm like, you know, what?
Dawn,
and I
don't
feel bad.
belittle her experience.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, there's some people who got caught up in a fire and they don't have skin at all, you know? So it's really interesting just to see where people are coming from and, you know, and just see what their experiences are and see where the genesis of it, where it all comes from, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well,
that video broke my heart. It was
girl 2020 in Italy. In Italy.
It's very sad.
Oh my God.
And you could see the wheels turning in the kids' heads.
Oh yeah.
They're like,
yeah. When they said which one looks like you, and I used to live in Italy, so I was listening to the translation, and I'm like, you know, just in terms, because sometimes they give the translation, but it's not accurate to what the man is verbally saying. But I was looking at how the little Black girl at the end was trying to defend possibly her decision of, because this doll had blue eyes versus, you know, and where does this come from?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? And we
and
already
the
know
girl
about.
that said at the end that you offended me by calling me Black.
Yeah, well, what are you then? You're not Italian. And I know they have a difference between ethnicity and nationality. So she might be making reference to her new adoptive nationality. But in terms of ethnicity, your origins is not Italy.
Yeah.
Your origins is African. So, you know, we don't really care about what you're offended, you know, because who told you Black was wrong? So and it's a disjustice to her, because I know when I lived in Italy, I met some Africans from Cameroon who was just trying to adapt into the Italian culture, but in the process of adapting to it, are you denying who you are? Because at the end of the day, you're still African, right?
Assimilation, right?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother Oprah.
And I'm hungry. And you didn't have any sandwiches for us. Where's our In and Out?
Yeah, Mr. Hagar.
So is that all? Do we have to go to the wrap up, or is that it?
I think it's over, right?
We did. We're late.
Yeah. Good. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
job.
Great job.
Much love.
Nice meeting you guys for the
I'll be bugging you.
Anna and Dr. Don.
Anytime.
Take care. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure working with all you guys. Please stay safe.
Take care. Bye, guys. Ciao.